Greetings, it's Saturday the 13th of August. So I'm currently on my mobile phone. I'm normally on my camera where the picture quality is a bit better, but shouldn't be a problem. You should still be able to see what I want to show you here. So we're experiencing some quite warm weather here by UK standards. So this has resulted actually in many of the heat-loving plants I'm growing here in the polytunnel doing very well indeed. So what I thought I'd do is take you around and you can see just how some of these plants are doing. So if I put the picture on there, look, have a look around here. So down here I've got some aubergines. So I'm growing two varieties of aubergine this year. The first variety is white dorger and the second is long purple. So what we'll do is we'll just walk over here, look, and here I have a dorger white aubergine growing away, you can see, in this pot here. So if I put my hand there, look, you can see the size of it, and it's not done growing yet. And here I've got some long purple, and these are forming really beautiful as well. So I've got some lovely crops there regarding aubergines. And here, this is an Onavec pepper. Look at that. So as we pan round here, I've got some more Onavec growing here. And this pepper here, this is lemon drop. Oh, look at that, look. They are coming on really well as well. So got some really good crops coming on there. So behind me here, I've got all sorts growing here. So more aubergines, as I showed you earlier. And if you look at these, look, they're actually coming into fruiting later than the ones in the pots over there. And I suspect that's because a plant in the pot is likely to be under more stress than if it's in the ground, so it wants to get its fruit out quicker. So nice earlier crops there. I have another Onavec pepper here, which, look at the size of that pepper there, look. If I put my hand there, you can see the size of that. And this is being grown in the ground as well. So that's doing really well. So from here, this actually brings me on to some melons. So many of you may be aware I like to grow watermelons, and I'm growing one variety of watermelon called Blacktail Mountain this year. If I remember correctly, it was developed in the year 1977 by Glenn Drowns. I think was a teenager at the time, and it's a short growing season watermelon. And the biggest one so far is down here, look. So there we go. So if I put my, just keep that out of the way, look. If I put my hand there, look, you can see the watermelon there. Now, they're not a watermelon that can get big, but they are a nice watermelon, and I've grown them before with success. And I've got two more formed here, so that's up to 3. Another one there, look, that's 4. And another one here, that is 5. And I've noticed one of my melon plants is growing all the way up here. It's actually grabbed onto the grapevine here, variety Riesling, for support. So far 6 melons, and there's probably more in there as well. So they are doing well. So in the area behind me, down here, these are bitter melons, otherwise known as bitter gourd, empalea. They're not a sweet melon. They are, as they say, a bitter melon. They're said to have certain medicinal qualities. I've grown them before. You might wish to look into them. And I've got noticed the first flower there. So hopefully they will be cropping within, start cropping month, 6 weeks or so, something like that. And I've actually noticed that a little white dorger, aubergine, eggplant, etc., has formed there. So I think this year it's going to be quite bountiful in the regards I've shown you. So over here, many of you may have seen how the tomatoes have done so far, done very well, but quite a lot of them don't make it to the plate actually. I just come out here and eat the tomatoes, but I've got to do a little bit of pruning and tying, as you can see there. So here, behind me here, I've got a load of plants I need to get out at the allotment. Many of them need to go out pretty soon, but the problem is the allotment is not it's not walking distance from here, so I have to drive there, and of course walking there every night, getting there every night to water is not really possible, etc. So if I show you here, look, under here. I've got all sorts growing here. So I've got some beetroot there. I've got some lettuce. I've also got some of these, which are very interesting. These are known as the drumstick plant. I'm forgetting one of the names now, but melon, that's it. That's quite a nice one there. And I've got all sorts of other things to go out here. Some brassicas, lettuce, beetroot, etc. All needs to be transplanted to the allotment, but because I said it's so dry at the moment, I can't get there every day to water it. I'm just going to leave it a little bit longer. They are talking about a thunderstorm around here maybe middle of next week, so that'll help with making the ground a bit wetter. So down here, right, this takes me to a sweet potato I'm growing in this container here, and it's growing very well. And there's the seed potato there. I actually planted it in a different way to which many people would plant sweet potatoes, but that's fine. I'll see how it does, and if I get a good crop, that'll be absolutely wonderful. But the warm weather this year, as I stated before, really is helping plants like this. So I'm expecting at least a small yield off of the sweet potato here. So behind me, many of you are aware, you've seen the lovely peach and nectarine crops I've had this year. I made a video on this subject a couple of weeks ago, put it up. So if you want to know about growing peaches and nectarines in detail, you may wish to have a look at that video. So I won't cover them too much today because that video covers a lot of it. But what I can show you, this is a blood orange, and this is sanguinelli blood orange, and I've got a crop formed. So one up there as well, and you can see there are 3 more there, and there's probably more if I look further into the little tree here. So once again, these appear to be doing well. So I'm growing different varieties of grape in this polytunnel here, but one variety behind me, and this is Riesling, which is a German wine grape. Massive fruit set here, expecting some massive crops off of it. Won't be able to see that too clear because of the light. I'll see if I could take you one you might see. You might be able to see these. So let's see what they're. I'm just going to pick one here. But there you go, that's it. And actually, certainly not there yet, but that wouldn't be described as inedible, in my opinion anyway. So really not too long now before we get a Riesling grape crop. And down here, look, this is Rhea. Nice little bunch there. So this is looking at the polytunnel from the other end. So I'm currently standing in front of the sanguinelli blood orange tree. That's what it looks like. Really is warm in here. I'm going to have to open the door in a moment. But some of the watermelons here, I'm also growing them in containers. So some in the ground and some in containers. I'm just letting them have a little free-for-all there. Right, so we'll go over here now, and this is a dwarf Cavendish banana plant. That's looking very good indeed, very happy. Well, I say it's looking very good. Funnily enough, banana plants don't like too much direct sunlight, and they're getting plenty of that this year, and it's hot, so it's crisping the leaves up a little bit. That shouldn't matter too much. So here in front of the polytunnel, this is a banana plant, and this is variety Musadagio. So there it is, and that's rocking and rolling, doing its thing there. So this is very interesting, and this is a pomegranate, and this is variety Provence, fully hardy here in the UK. I think it's an ancient French variety. So, as I stated, fully hardy. The plant surviving over winter is not an issue. You've got some flowers there. But one issue with pomegranates is when they flower, they tend to flower around August time, and then of course by the time the fruit sets, if it ever does anyway, the cooler weather can be here, and then the plant goes into dormancy, etc., and you don't get a crop. Now I am wondering this year, because of the warmth, etc., will I be able to produce a pomegranate crop? I may be able to take this plant inside maybe September time if it starts to get cooler, and finish the fruit production there, if indeed that could happen. But that's certainly something I'm potentially looking into and not ruling it out. So in my little exotic fruit area here, I call it, it's not all exotic, it's just a name really. So autumn royal grapes, you probably can't see them too well, but they are ripening, which is looking pretty cool. And here, this is variety Muller-Thurgau, etc. And this is quite an early ripening grape, at least it was last year. Not quite there yet, but once again, that could not be described as inedible. Now, this is interesting because I've got a persimmon form there, and there is another one up here. So this is variety Rojo Brilliante, and we'll see, we'll see how it does. Over here, persimmon variety Fuyu. I don't think there's any fruit set on that, but the plant has grown, so that might come into its own, within a few years or so. So we've got a grapevine here, variety Muscat Blanc, and let's see how they're doing. Once again, not inedible. So the grapes here, these are doing very well indeed. And this here is Lakemont seedless. Many of you are aware of the high regard I hold this variety in, but absolutely fantastic bunches of grapes. Let's have a look. Once again, certainly not there yet, but they're not that far off. And my grapes here, they sort of pan the whole length almost really of my little backyard orchard area here. I've got all sorts growing here. I've got squash, pumpkins, etc, but wouldn't really refer to these as exotic plants, so we'll cover these. I don't know, certain squash could be referred to, but for the purpose of this video, we'll cover this in another video. Apples, you get the idea. And let's try some more grapes. Plenty going on here. Let's have a look at this one. There we are. Actually, it's probably where it gets the most sun. These grapes here are actually tasting very much edible. So, although they could do with a little bit longer, I'm harvesting grapes here that are edible, and it's only August. So anyway, you're getting the idea. Plenty to come. Hope you enjoyed that video, and if you made it this far, let me know how your exotic plants are growing, if you're growing any. If you're interested to be very interested to hear how they're doing, and I shall see you in the next video.